Hello, welcome to my Sunday Frump. Thank you for joining me today. This is just a headlines update weekender, and I hope you guys stick around to the end. Um, this is kind of um, more serious right now than I guess usual. Um, the news. I know you guys come to me a lot because I kind of tend to tell the truth and kind of don't have any biases, and I really have complete transparency when it comes to these types of situations in the world and in general. But I did want to cover some of this stuff in Gaza. So that's the first thing I want to go through because it's a more serious topic. Um, So the IDF recently conducted strikes in Rafah that took nearly 50 civilian lives. The resilience of the people who are relying on international humanitarian effort is astounding. The situation in Gaza is ongoing. Nevertheless, International Court of Justice gave orders to discontinue counters in Rafah a week ago. They asked that UN be permitted to continue its open investigation into genocide allegations taken upon the lives of Palestinians. So, in summary, Rafah, located in Gaza, is still under siege. It's kind of like a point where their violence is ongoing toward it's like a an area that they warned that there would be activity as far as military. Um, so this is like war zone. This is not like a normal civilian life. It's not a normal everyday life. There and they have very little. They lack very little. They lack a lot of everything, and they have very little left in Gaza as far as humanitarian aid. They have very few options for, you know, offering, relaying, and giving um, aid, because a lot of the paths are blocked. A lot of the entrance zones are war zones. A lot of, the ways and methods and approaches are putting people's lives in danger. And so they have to go around everything, and they kind of have to weigh every aspect of, um, you know, lending a hand to Gaza right now, and it's kind of hard. And the scarcity is even more frightening because you know there's there's no aid. There's without aid, they can't just continue everyday life like if nothing happened. And in Rafah, a lot of people are they don't really have means to survive out there. Um, it's not a normal life for them. Anywhere in Gaza, they don't have food. They don't have medical. They don't have proper shelter. Especially in Rafah, you know it's dire, and so that's why I say these people persevere. And you know the UN, also, although they've been under scrutiny, they continue researching and keeping a file open and documenting, because they do continue having a concern of genocide. So long as there's war, there's always going to be this concern. But the ICJ, they have held several meetings and found that, they should push forth, despite discrepancy, they should continue, and that people shouldn't, there shouldn't be any backlash on that. So that said, there is still ongoing situation in Rafah where there is a conflict. So there were casualties, and they continue every I'd say every time there's a casualty or a loss, they get even more brighter spotlight on them. And it's not a good light, it's a harsh light because of the court hearing. They're not gonna just discontinue the conversation. It's gonna continue until there's a resolve. So there's that. So the Kansas City Chiefs, on a more lighter note, I guess, the Kansas City Chiefs have a player. His name is Harrison Butker. He was invited to give a speech at a university that was a graduating party of 2024. And it went viral, and not for very good reasons either. So Kansas City Chiefs Harrison Butker was giving a commencement speech at Regina Kiley Academy when the public was sent in an uproar. His track on self-promotions was going very far-right extremists and caused petition for removal by the masses, citing frat bro propaganda, which tends to exclude women, LGBTQ, and neutral dispositions when race is mentioned. Summing it up, I'd say the following. And his speech was kind of lengthy, although he did fill it in with a little bit of like just self-awareness, like rambling, I guess. It was just ramblings and, dead air, kind of. So I'd say he took a little breath every now and then in the speech, but it was a very, it was kind of an extreme speech, and I don't know if he was very nervous. It's kind of the speech that a nervous person gives. It's kind of the speech that somebody who felt like it would be circulated throughout the media would give. And I feel like I kind of feel in a way that it was like it was a bro thing. Like it was kind of like a speech that somebody gives because they just wanted a story afterwards to tell their bros. That's what the vibes it was giving. It wasn't giving like, I thought about it. I spent a month working on this speech. I'm so proud to give this speech to these kids because I feel like I made an impact. It wasn't that kind of speech, guys. It was not. And although he did hit on a few serious things and ignore a bunch of others like inclusiveness and stereotypes, gender stereotypes, but needless to say, I kind of summed it up into more palatable, into more easier to digest, I guess, essay, Congrats, grads, you made it. Former president was a stain. I am a man of God. All topics in policy are sins brought up by criminals. My religious beliefs denounce topics including former president and women's reproductive issues. I'm even more so still leaning on religion. It has guided my life and grounded my roots. Family led me to this religious life and became the forefront of my own family life. Marriage is important. Being a leader is important. Titles are of utmost importance because the work you leave behind could be your only legacy according to statistics. Having a family should be your priority. That was the highlight of my life. Today, I accomplished and I am proud to share. Women's reproductive issues are topics that stop girls from learning about this. Male statistics don't help men from becoming part of the problem. Gender roles shouldn't be ignored. Although society likes to blur them at times, push back at them by breaking a sweat. Did I mention I play for the NFL? Get on your career path, stay in church, and be the best version of yourselves. So that's basically, in conclusion, kind of what he was hitting at. I kind of found that he really, once in a while, his antidote was women's reproductive issues. And the base of it was that the former president was toxic. And I think a lot of the actual floof in the actual message was based on his experience in church, becoming a man. And I think that his own personal life, that he projected it upon the students, that he saw their youth as kind of like a younger version of himself and kind of wanted to guide them along the path. And I don't see any, like, his youth, he probably was like championship after championship in athletics. So I really don't think that he can relate in a more realistic way, right? But he thought so, and he wanted to kind of coach the alumni into understanding that life is more than just what the internet wants you to see. It's actually about setting your boundaries in society, about maybe making your mark in an upstanding marriage. You should work on your marriage so you can one day be proud to show that you're in a relationship. So I didn't really understand it. A lot of people said that he was pushing the limits when talking to those young girls. Like all they could amount to was making sandwiches in the kitchen, and that dudes were bros in the making, and that they really needed to step up their game and man up to the plate. That fatherhood was nothing to play with. That they were blurring the lines of gender roles by just breathing, because men were statistics in the making at that point of of life, graduation. I think he thought, hindsight, maybe I should have stepped up my game a little bit more and pursued something different, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he feels like his career choice and his family life are kind of not smoothly, intersecting paths. There, maybe there's a little bit of static there. And he just thought maybe he'd give some of his insight looking back at it, at this point. It's a turning point, for anybody. Graduation at any age or academic, wise, scholastic wise, any point that you graduate, it's kind of a turning point. And you can look back and reflect, and you can look, to the future and move forward with more education in life, because you've experienced things and you felt things, and those emotions led you to those conclusions. And you know all your weaknesses and all the positive strengths that you have to go, forth, having learned that. And that will empower you to do better, to be better, to be your best self. I think it doesn't matter if you're a girl or a boy. And I think him pushing the issue that men are soft, and these statistics speak volumes for your, for, I guess, whatever makes you up, what makes you able to call yourself a man, I don't think that was it. Because who is he to say that, Like I said, there's a disconnect with reality, when you get that. Big in the field. So, forget my reaction. It made me laugh. It was a watered down network meeting of RP mainstreamers, also on steroids. The only difference is he knew what marriage was. And the fact that female gender exists. I was shocked when people asked me personally for my take. I think he should stick to football. Basic use of memory, fine motor skills. He might strain something, right? Why chance it? Don't stick to what you know and learned and love yourself, right? Seems it hard to look and behave as a normal person after being fanned and having all that rich elite money. And other news that shook the internet, viral stuff. A TikTok couple continued to post and upload airing dirty laundry. This influencer couple have separate accounts on and release information that is daily involving their children and family life. There's divorce status because they are going to court fighting for child support, with controversial documents presented that don't just end in IVF, but donating. That's right. We don't want to talk about that gory stuff, but we know exactly what it is that donations. They apparently created their firstborn without knowing each other. And after, She took half his check by a loophole law. Then had more kids after linking up. This time they are dragging the public in their mess, and their brands are based on their toxic personalities at bat. She gives advice on lawsuits and she's even sued her own parents. They get into detail about their personal lives down to how you pronounce each child's name, and most recently doxed their lawyers, who are also TikTokers. This couple was highlighted by the red pill because she claimed he took a blue-collar job to avoid paying child support. She argues that he owes her until her death to pay all her bills and afford a luxury lifestyle. He claims that she deserves the child support, but he didn't conceive reluctantly with her nor plan their first child. And asking for more than their financial support was frivolous and greedy. Is he behind? She is deluded. And poor kids. That's all I have to say about them, because what in the ever? So, if you didn't catch that, this man and woman are both influencers. They are TikTokers, and they post daily about their personal lives, but they also post regularly, and their content is basically the epitome of toxic influencer, and that's what people look forward to when they see their channel. And it's kind of weird because it's like an alter reality. Like, we always talk about this stuff because we tell you guys, watch out for toxic influencers. But here are toxic influencers whose claim to fame is being and promoting toxicity. You know, it's just so strange that we live in a world where you can be famous for nothing, Kim K, and you can be famous, you know, for being a toxic influencer. You know, like, we had those in more serious, like even more serious, Miranda Sings. That was really creepy. She was a creepy children's creator, and she was toxic, but she was creepy towards kids, and that was not safe. This kind of, I think it delves on safety issues, but it's more like they're kind of disclosing this to continue their they're kind of continuing all the, all the steam behind their channels or their platforms. And I think it's really, really, really disgraceful, because the steam behind their channels was because they disgraced, ethics. How can you broadcast ethically if you're not ethically sound? And how can you come on here and be taken seriously if all you have is to show off this nefarious lifestyle, or show off your knowledge and swindling? But yet, they continue pushing the boundaries and limits. And I think in court, they will be seen for what they are, and they will fall short of, having true virtue and having, grounded, like, perception of reality. I don't think any judge will look past that. And, I think sooner or later it's going to come and nip them right in the butt. What comes around goes around, and that karma, when you mess with your own children and mess with their lives, your own flesh and blood, I think just turns around and bites you in the behind. Because, nobody really wants to watch that unfold in the first place. And yet you're serving it up and force feeding the internet that. And I think the fact that they went viral for the wrong reasons, and they noticed that they had picked up some movement here in the red pill. I think they even showed that side of them even more so pronounced, because that the fact that they were getting views from over here, when really we were just saying obviously they're coming to social media for attention and using their children, as scapegoats in their quarrels, as they go unfold and continue in their relationship. And it's obvious to us, but to the general public, they're more trusting and more open, so they're more susceptible to being toxic influenced by these, hustlers. I don't think it's fair. I really don't. And I think they should have kind of gave the backstory before they went in little by little dissected it, because like we're just like thrown into their entire world, which is kind of sick and a circus act in and of itself. And it's hard to digest. Topics like divorce are very serious, so I don't think like I don't think their following appreciates this. So kind of, I'm kind of watching like what happens after that, because like, they need to take accountability. So hope you guys like this video, and I'll have more for you soon. So like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon on my Sunday Frump. Bye bye.